Howdy everyone, Luke here again, your resident urban farmer, and welcome to week 2 of Resilience Growing. It's a really exciting week because we actually get to play with some microgreens and put our fish tanks together and get our setups going, which is what we all signed up for. So this week I'll be taking you through a really simple seeding workshop basically. We're not going to advance to the full trays yet, but we're just going to choose a little selection of easy to grow microgreens just to demonstrate how we prepare the hemp and do the seeding, and so we've got a little bit of fun germination happening over the next couple of weeks while we start to deal with some of the other content. So for today, pretty simple. You just need the little black trays you would have received in your kits. These nice big mats of hemp. You've got a bunch of them as well. So grab one of them, grab a pair of scissors, and of course grab some seeds. So this week we'll be using broccoli, radish, and what's kind of known technically as Mizuna, but we've labelled it as flame tree mustard because it is a Japanese mustard green. So grab the broccoli, the radish, and the flame tree mustard, and also a little bowl of warm water, and we'll get into the seeding. So hopefully you've got all your things and we can get started on the actual seeding. The reason why I've asked you to grab a bowl of warm water is we need to start with the hemp. So this is one of the hemp sheets, and I've actually already gone ahead and just cut a little strip off the end here, and I find this is the best way to get the correct length for the tray. So just cut a little slip off the end and then fold it in half, and this is pretty much the right size to meet one of the black trays. So grab your scissors, just snip that in the middle there, and you should have two pieces pretty much ready to go for soaking. So once you've cut all your pieces to size, soak them in a bowl of warm water for 5 to 10 minutes, or you can run them under the tap as well, and just make sure at the end of that you squeeze it out. You'll notice there's a bit of difference in color there, and the point of this is just to make the hemp nice and moist, so the seeds will have something sort of resembling moist soil to germinate on, but you don't want them sopping wet. So you need to be able to pick them up and not really have water running out of them. You want to wring them pretty much just so they're nice and moist. And then once you've done that, you can start to put them in the trays. Now, if you cut them to size, they should fit pretty snug. But you will find the odd one is maybe a little bit too short or not wide enough. That's fine, because once the hemp is wet, it's actually really easy to stretch. So I've deliberately left this one short. I just want to show you how to stretch it. Just grab it and just sort of pinch it between your fingers and just pull it slightly. You give it little tugs, and when it's wet and when it's warm, it actually stretches quite easily. So just sort of side to side and end to end, and then you can sort of check it and adjust, and mine needs a little bit more length and a smidge more on the sides. And just sort of keep playing with it. This is really great to do barehanded. It's really nice and therapeutic, and it feels great on the skin, which is also a part of the fun. So you see there, I've stretched it out, it fits nice and snug. And what we're looking for here is just that little raised edge around the side of the tray, purely just to stop the seeds from falling through. So it's nothing any fancier than that. We just don't want to waste any seed, which can happen if there's any small gaps because the seeds are quite tiny. So once you've got your 3 trays ready like that, that's great. You can put them down, and we're going to move on to actually doing the seeding. So now that we've got our hemp trays prepared, we can begin the seeding process. I recommend getting the seeds and pouring them into a small dish or a glass. That way you don't risk spilling the entire packet, and also you can keep cross-contamination to a minimum. I'm going to start with the broccoli, so you should all have grabbed that by now. And just pour some into the palm of your hand. We like getting hands-on here at Farmwell Home, so don't bother using a spoon or anything like that, because it's good to get a feel for the seeds, and I think you'll start to become more comfortable as you go. So just grab a little pinch and just start dropping them on the hemp mat. I'm just going to do one for them now. Now with this, you don't really need an exact measurement, so don't worry about weighing it out or getting an exact sort of tablespoon measurement or anything like that. And what you're looking for is just a nice even coverage, and that will vary based on the seed, which is why we don't give you exact measurements, because different seeds are different sizes and different weights. We just want you to go until it kind of looks right. So you can see here, we're just sprinkling on, doing a couple more. And if you get any clumps or anything like that, that's fine, because you can fix that by hand after we do the seeding. So a few more, and then always put your seeds directly back into the glass, and just keep that separate. So you want to keep track. You can see here like the broccoli and the Mizuna or the mustard, quite similar in size and color, and it'd be very easy to get them mixed up. And also if you poured the wrong one into the wrong packet, it's a bit of a nightmare trying to separate it, and you'll find that for weeks and weeks more you'll be seeding something and getting a different thing growing, and vice versa. So keep them separate, and that way you won't have any mix-ups. And you can see here, we've got pretty good coverage. I'm actually pretty happy with that. But what we want to avoid here, and if you have this at home, just any large clumps of like 5 to 10 seeds touching each other. We just want to break them up a little bit. Now you won't get every seed totally isolated by itself. That's fine. A couple touching each other is all right, because when they start to germinate, they'll kind of push each other out of the way as their roots grow. So just kind of do that there. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, no one hemp tray is perfect, and we have a lot of variation between our own seeding as well, but I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll pop that to the side, and we'll do the radish now. And the radish is probably one of the largest seeds you'll deal with outside of the peas. Probably a little bit easier to work with, especially for those smaller fingers. And so here we have here, just another tray. Pop that on. You'll find you'll need less seeds when you seed the radish, because of the larger seed size. A few more. Pop them in there. Again, you can give it a shake. It works a bit better with the bigger seeds. And just sort of sprinkle them around. If you see any pop out, that's okay. Just put them back in. I also like to smoosh the hemp down a little bit, just so it's sitting snugly in the corners. And again, I'm pretty happy with that for the radish, so I'll pop that off to the side. And the last one we'll do is the flame tree mustard. So this is a Japanese mustard green, so in the mustard family. It's got a lot of heat to it, and it's called flame tree because it actually has a really beautiful kind of red and purple color once it starts to grow. It's probably my favorite microgreen, and I really enjoy growing it, really enjoy eating it and harvesting it. So we'll sprinkle these on. These are also very, very small seeds, even smaller than the broccoli. So you'll find you probably need a little bit more than the last two. And you'll start to get a feel for it as you seed during the weeks. Same premise here though, you just don't want any large bunches of them. And I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty much the right amount. Right there, you can see it's a nice even distribution. And there we go. So we have our 3 hemp trays all seeded, good to go. And the last thing we need to do is to spray them with some water. So I've got my water bottle here. And here we just want to get them moist, but we don't want to soak them. So just a few sprays per tray. Sort of 3 to 4 is enough. Sometimes I like to do one more for good luck. And there we go. So we've stretched the hemp, we've put the seeds onto them, and then we've now sprayed the seeds with some water. And that means we've got all the conditions needed to start germinating these seeds. Once you've done with that, you want to find somewhere nice and warm to put them, because the seeds require a little bit of warmth. And just put a little lid on there. So in the instructions we've said use a chopping board or a small dinner plate or a lid from a pan, something like that. I've just grabbed a small dinner plate, pop that over, and that's pretty much it. So all we're trying to do here is block out as much light as possible. It doesn't have to be completely light proof, because a little bit here and there is fine. And we'll find that after sort of 2 to 3 days we'll get some germination. We recommend on about between day 1 and 2, just lift it up and give it another spray or 2. Just want to make sure that hemp doesn't dry out. So you can sort of touch it with your finger and it still feels moist, it probably doesn't need a spray. And if it's starting to dry out, you give it another little spritz. The point of that is just to keep the hemp moist so the seeds have something to grow into. But we want to avoid over-watering the hemp. I've seen it sometimes, and even we've done it, where we over-soak the hemp or we spray it too much, and a little pool of water starts to form. And then you find the seeds are actually sitting in water, and they won't germinate, and they'll actually start to rot at that point. So just keep it moist, but not too moist. You don't want to flood or drown the seeds. And after sort of a few days, you'll actually see some germination. And so at that point, you can take the lid off. Now, what you're looking for in germination is just some small white stems and a couple of little tiny leaves that are starting to pop up. And once you see that across the majority of the seeds, take the lid off and put it in a nice sunny light position, and it will then start to grow in the natural light at that point. And then after sort of 7 to 10 days, you should have some fairly well established microgreens, and you can then start harvesting from that point on. So there we have it. We've come to the end of our first seeding lesson. You should have 3 trays ready to go: broccoli, radish, and flame tree mustard. You can see I'm wearing my big party farmer hat because I'm excited, and hopefully you guys are all excited. We've done our first seeding workshop, and that's really what we all signed up for. I'd love for you to all post photos and updates on the Facebook group. Let's share in the successes and the excitement of seeing those first few microgreens shoot up and those leaves forming. And also any questions or issues you're having, let's troubleshoot them and help each other out as we go through this. Good luck growing over the next couple of weeks. and also we'll be able to check on them next week and see how you're going. Until then, this is Farmer Luke saying happy growing, and we'll speak to you soon.